Dragons
suck.
Dragons suck. I don't even like him.
Good way to start.
We talked before whether or not you guys prefer chromatic or metallic. What do you prefer?
Metallic.
Dan? You prefer metallic?
I prefer metallic.
You're just wrong at life.
Who prefers metallic dragons? Dungeons and Dragons is the only time where you could be bad and not really get punished for it.
Know what? I like that they... One, I've got a colossal red dragon sitting and watching us as we do this all the time. Like, Sheila.
No, that's not...
Sheila.
I believe it's...
I hate you people so much. No, I will pay homage to the trope that is the evil...
His name is Steve.
I've had that thing longer than I've been your friend. So
yeah.
Just
and it will be
where my priorities.
It's got a Decepticon logo on it. So
but anyway, dragons.
I like black dragons because they're sadistic, and I feel like even though the chromatic dragons are evil,
you have said multiple times that you want like D&D to hurt you.
Yeah,
so
I do.
It's cathartic, man. It's cathartic.
There's a deep-seated issue coming through here. Are you okay?
I don't know.
Terry, are you okay?
You know what, Dan? I'm going to tell you what it is. I like living life on the edge, man, but I'm too much of a coward to do it in real life. So I'm not going bungee jumping or anything. I'm just going to like make my character get as close to death as possible and then run away from it.
Terry's that guy standing like 3 rows back at a fight saying, "Yeah, kick her ass!"
I'm like, hurt me. Character makes a multi attack against you with a whip. Perfect. Keep going. I'll tell you when.
To the left.
Tell you when. You should action surge, DM.
Terry's next character is going to be a tabaxi with 9 tails.
Meow.
So dragons.
So back to dragons just really quickly. We said in a previous episode that one of the different kinds can shapeshift naturally, and it is metallic that can do it. It's not chromatic.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Yep, me too.
I'm going to give chromatics the ability to just be people and fuck with the party.
Yep.
So I'm gonna nerd out a little bit. The black dragon in World of Warcraft, Nyxia, for years before she was a raid boss at the end of the game, was a human character that was influencing the crown on the human side of the alliance.
Right.
And she was just standing off to the side of the young king, Varian Rin or whatever his name is. I played Horde. No one's surprised. But
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I've never played World of Warcraft. I'm just going, yes.
But it like shocked everybody when this advisor, who was a quest giver, like a lot of people had talked to her and gone through these things, ended up being like the daughter of the Black Dragon Flight leader. Like it's just like super evil person, and it threw everything on his head. So I love doing that in my games now, and I love referencing that a little bit in the games.
The last campaign that you guys played in had 2 dragons that were masquerading as people. One of them ended up in a romantic relationship with one of the PCs, and the other one was like the most trusted, wise steward of this giant hollow tree that held an elven village inside, and turned out to be a blue dragon just like waiting.
That was good. The reason I like that one is because my character was having a relationship with a half-orc, but that didn't even seem that weird compared to the player we had that was having a relationship with a dragon. And then if you questioned it, he was like when he found out that his romantic interest was a dragon, we were like, oh, so that's over? And he's like, no, why would it be? Because she's a giant lizard, man. Because you're shagging a giant lizard, dude. I shouldn't have to tell you this.
the best thing to do is I'm like, and she becomes a dragon. And he looked at me he just stopped, and he raised both eyebrows, and he went, huh.
He was totally turned on by it. Huh. He loved it.
Yeah, it was all over. It's absolutely fantastic.
He loved it. He's some sort of reptilian furry.
Speaking of people that will sleep with anything, shall we get to the topic?
Yes, we shall. We're going to talk about Bards today. We're going to explore the classes, and then 3 of the subclasses, 2 from the Player's Handbook, 1 from Janathar's. But before that, we got to roll the opening music. Slappity bass!
Slappity bass!
Welcome to It's a Mimic with your DMs, Adam, Dan, and Terry.
Okay, guys. All right. So we're going to go into Bards today. We'll touch on lore a little bit. So for those of you who know the lore, Bards believe that the world was spoken into existence. And they essentially take their spellcasting ability from... I think it's often thought to be just singing, but it's not really. It's kind of the power of the spoken language, really, however you put it across, whatever medium.
It's any vocal or auditory, like it's an oration.
I would even, that's right, any sort of auditory thing, because it can be instruments, you know. I would even argue that it can be any kind of artistic ability, really. I'm not going to limit anyone because they want to be a whittler or something.
Interpretive dances their way through magic. Why not?
Absolutely, go nuts. There's no point in holding people back. But bards will go off to certain colleges. Essentially, they go to a university to learn their ability and to fine tune it to whichever kind of subclass that they want to go to. So we should talk about the general flavors, the archetypes, and the stereotypes, the things that we've seen, how maybe we would like to do it a little bit differently, and what the rest of the world is seeing. But first, we got to roll initiative. Are you ready? I'll try and get it in the box this time.
Natural 20.
20.
You finally. Oh no, you've crit before.
No. I rolled an 8. Terry rolled a natural 20.
So there you go.
I get to go first.
I rolled an 18.
You're going second again.
But you get to go second.
I know.
So.
No, I'm okay with it because
okay
I still rolled higher than Dan.
Dan still lost. All right, so the classic
Why do I do
archetypes
this
that
with
we
you
see.
people?
By episode 45, I'll just be fist fighting in the background. You know that, right?
So for this, I'm going to go over what I see to be kind of like the general tropes with bards. But I'm not going to hog the turn here. If you two guys want to jump in a little bit, that's okay. We've seen the general sort of minstrel type or even that like fairground caravan type entertainer that seduces all of the men or the women around.
Yeah, they're the reason why dragonborn, half orcs, half elves, and every half breed race is around, right?
That's it. Yeah,
Not dragon.
just really
You're talking
horny bards.
You're talking half dragons, not dragonborn. But
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Specifically in 5th ed, there's a freaking difference.
Yeah, I know. There's a freaking difference.
But hold on. So you're saying that they're traditionally minstrels, right?
Yes.
But not every minstrel is a bard, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people get backwards.
Right.
Here, right, is that anybody with some sort of musical talent is a bard. You have to go. You study as hard as a wizard does.
Same as not every priest is a cleric, like as a class. Yeah.
Yeah, and
like Deckard came from the Diablo series, the Stay a While and Listen, like the Sean Connery ripoff. That dude is a bard. He's just telling stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a power to that storytelling aspect. And it even says in the player's handbook, it doesn't even have to be a true story. It's the power of the story. Right. That's behind the bard.
And I love how the power of words, the power of the auditory input is so ingrained in these things. Like College of Valor guys get cutting words. Like the spell... why is it escaping me? The mocking. Vicious mockery. Yeah, like you have a spell where you just belittle someone so much you hurt them, otherwise known as being Dan on this podcast.
Yeah. But I feel like for things like that, I think the vicious mockery it's not the words really that you're saying, it's the power behind the words.
It's the power behind the words.
The sentence that you say to mock them is just the medium, the magic.
Yeah, it's such a good comparison to D&D. It doesn't matter the details. It matters that you're telling the story.
Yeah.
Right? And that's it's so cool because that's the roleplay class.
So because of their abilities in the class, bards have obviously for social encounters they're hugely valuable for their charisma, usually being their highest stat if you're playing correctly, quotation marks. But also they're very much a buff class as well.
Not buff like a barbarian. They buff.
Not
people.
buff like a barbarian. Buff. Like
you could argue with their charisma dependence that they're fairly good looking people too.
Yeah, but I feel that they're Trent Reznor
charisma.
Good looking. They're not freaking.
More like I feel
Fabio.
like Javier Bardem good looking, where it's like half the world gets it and the other half is like, really, that guy?
I don't get it. His face looks like a shoe. Continue.
His face isn't a shoe?
We love it. I'm sure he listens. With the other 3 people.
I kid because we're friends. I'm going over to his house after this recording.
Adam, Dan, my mom, and Javier Bardem are the 4 people that listen to this podcast.
Everyone else is giving
now
up.
We're down to 3. But they're buff people as in that they stand at the back and will inspire the rest of the party, or they have their song of rest to help people when it comes to the long rest times. So they're kind of a jack of all trades, in that they can fight, but they're not the fighter. They can do spells, but they're not the wizard. So when you guys are playing bards,
literally one of the names of their abilities.
Yeah. Oh, well, it is absolutely.
Yeah, jack of all trades.
So when you guys are playing bards, how do you tackle this then? How do you do it when you kind of jack of all trades and you could just dip in here, dip in there?
I play the guy who could do anything, but.
And do you enjoy this kind of game?
But I fully enjoy it. I love playing bards. There's a certain freedom in them because you can they're versatile. That's what they're about. They're about being versatile. They're one of the only arcane classes that gets cure. At least that was 3-5 maybe. But
it straight up doesn't matter because in one of them you can just dip into other, or not even one of them. It's built in. You can dip into other classes spell list. So you just like I'm grab heal.
I think it's 10th level. You can do that. You can start dipping in.
6th
magical secrets. It's magical secrets 10th level.
So they're all about their versatility and really dipping into that. But the thing I love about Bards is even though they're kind of like 70% good at everything, they will tell you they're 100% good at everything.
And you'll believe them.
And I love that. Like the one time I slayed a dragon, now I had 4 guys with me, and I'm not going to tell you that I had 4 guys that did 90% of the work, and I came in with my, cutting words at the end and went, "You suck!" and it died. Yeah. Like, that's the other thing about Bards I love. You could kill someone by just telling them they suck.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally murder someone with words.
They will die inside and then outside.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that about them as well. The story doesn't have to be true for you to achieve... Like, the fighter, essentially, they have to have killed the dragon for somebody to believe them because they're not going to be able to fool somebody. Yeah. The bard doesn't have to have really happened, and that's what I really enjoy about them as well. I think they're just so good for social encounters, and I'm really a roleplay heavy player, and I feel like in real life I'm a half-elf bard. If I was a character build, that would be what I am. So for me, it just kind of comes more naturally than, I don't know, druid, for example.
Yeah, I don't know. I love bards. I play bards. They're my favorite thing because I will listen to the exact words that you use and then spin them on their head and use them against you.
Yeah.
Right? I absolutely love that role play, that interaction side.
I am terrified of a bard villain in your campaign.
Oh,
I am terrified, and I know there is.
I imagine like a high level politician bard type villain.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they very much exist.
Yeah.
You guys haven't been in those cities, but there are bards all over the place. I love the bards because in my head, they're the masterminds behind the rogues. The head of the rogue guild is a bard.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one that's going to be able to tell the rogues, the assassins, what to do. Right? Everybody else either has to have might is right, but the rogues will sneak their way through it, or it'll be another rogue that's commanding them, but why do you listen to that guy? We'll stab. The bards just say, no, you guys are my henchmen. Mm-hmm. Off you go and do this. And they thank him for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I love that aspect of role-playing and being able to get into the heads and the minds of other characters and creatures. I'll tell you right now, I don't want to be a bard fighting direwolves. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Like humanoids is what you prefer.
It doesn't even have to be humanoids as long as they're, like, it can be a fiend.
Yeah.
Right? As long as I'm actually... It has to have language.
Yeah.
Right?
A degree of intelligence, really.
Yeah. If I know that I'm going to end up in a monstrous campaign of some sort for whatever reason, or there's a lot of aberrations. We're going to space, we're fighting mind flayers, and they got languages, but they got alien minds, and I can't outsmart a beholder. You just can't.
Yeah.
Right? No. Way too chaotic. Then I'm going to think of something about like mimicking noises as opposed to using words.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a different flavor to it. But
well, even still, if you're in that kind of situation, you play the kind of bard that is more buffing and encouraging your party rather than being directly antagonistic to the things they're fighting.
Well,
right?
I also find that in 5th edition specifically, but D&D in overall, in 5th ed specifically, there are not a whole lot of debuff spells.
No.
I can boost my party members a million different ways, but I can't make you bad at shit.
Yeah, Bane is the only thing I can think of right now.
Bane and cutting words.
Cutting words.
Right,
yeah.
like there are a couple others, but it's rare. Right, there's not a whole lot of being able to hurt other people with your words.
So do you feel like that's something that's missing from the game?
Yeah.
To do like homebrew spells?
Yeah, in a few episodes we're going to talk about homebrewing in a big way. Mm-hmm. I can't remember if it's 3 episodes from now or 10. But we touch on homebrewing in a really, like, we'll cover it, and I want to cover spells and what's missing out of 5th edition. From a bard perspective, I think that if you're playing a bard, you need to sit back and go, what do I want to do, not what's in the player's handbook.
Yeah. And
then work with your DM to say, here is the magic that I want to pull from the weave to put into the world.
Yeah.
This is the spell I want to do. What level is it and can I do it?
Yeah.
Right? And so we'll talk about that another time, but bards are so inherently magical just by understanding how the world works, the fabric of reality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, they're also very skillful and physically capable.
Well, they get expertise.
Some of them. They get expertise. They get a D8 hit points.
Right, but that doesn't...
they get their D8 hit points. They
Everybody gets a D8 hit point except they're really squishy guys. That's like saying that All right, fine. D8 is the standard, though.
Their main saving throw is a dexterity saving throw. Like, they get dex and charisma. Like,
right, because what else do you need besides charisma when you're a bard? Dex just makes sense, because I said this in the last episode. It's the one that you roll more than anything else. That's your save.
Yes, but...
So because they're good at everything, that'll be the one that they're good at.
Yeah.
All right, so I hear what you're saying. I just don't see them as being necessarily physical. They can be, some of them. I mean, College of Valor definitely is.
Yeah.
College of Swords definitely is. But I have trouble picturing them relying on the blade when they can be relying on their spells. Because, like I say, they've put as much effort into this as a wizard has.
Yeah, there's a reason they're a 9th level spellcaster.
Yeah.
And not, like, dipping into it like a paladin does.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So, anyways, that's where I'm coming from in a bard.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything there. I mean, we'll go on to the 3 subclasses we're going to talk about in a second. Unless there's any last points you guys want to touch on before we move on.
Yeah, I wanted to ask real quickly, what are their proficiencies?
Their proficiencies are skills. Choose any 3.
That's what it is.
Any 3.
Just-
no wonder we couldn't remember specifically, Adam.
Yeah, right.
It's
So-
anything.
Right, but even with expertise, I'm not seeing that as them picking acrobatics. They can, and why wouldn't they? But why not also pick intimidation and deception along with your insight and persuasion and performance? Right, and you can. It just leans so heavily into the role play.
Yeah.
Right. So that's. I think that's super. Not just helpful, but interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you could, for intimidation, for example, something always that came to my mind there is it doesn't need to be like a charismatic minstrel type bard. You could have like a war drummer or something, where their job in their military is to play the drums or whatever and intimidate the enemy before they get there. And then that makes perfect sense.
Well, Big Ivan in the Mage Tower was a half-orc bard with a little drum.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, you could do the drummer. There's a reason why in their proficiencies they get 3 magical 3 instruments as well.
Yeah, not magical. They get 3.
They get they're magical because they're well wielded by bards, but like they get 3 different instruments that they can choose from.
Would you rule that it needs to be a musical instrument, because that kind of railroads you down that route? Or would you say, because Adam, you've talked before about having like a bard that whittles, a whittler. Would you maybe say that would be their instrument? That they.
Yeah, absolutely. Like whatever your performance is.
Yeah.
3 tools that you would use for the performance. If you're if you're an interpretive dancer, you have like tap shoes,
A ribbon,
right? Like there are some things.
A hula hoop.
Yeah.
Sure, like whatever it is, you have this thing, and you can be as creative as you want with the bard. The bard is meant to be role played.
You could be David Bowie with the static juggling.
You should have a homebrew ability where you can turn your mage hand into a purple hula hoop.
I mean, okay, if you're going to be a magician, you are a bard. Your magic item should be a top hat.
Yeah.
Let's just let's go there. I am proficient in rabbit.
Yeah.
Right?
Ah!
Just a hilarious bard that keeps pulling things out of the top hat I'm holding. It just can't find it. Just keep pulling it.
And what I got in here? Oh, that's from last week.
Just a spear. No, wrong one.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway, that's
Okay. All right. Just before we move on, then, guys, I know we have a commercial. So here's our commercial, and then we'll go.
How cool would it be to hear your company name on this podcast? Pretty stinking cool. It's a Mimic is ready to take our show to the next level. We want to partner with other awesome businesses to share your brand with our listeners. Please email us at info@itsamimic.com for advertising information.
Alright guys, we are back. So we're going to talk about 3 subclasses today. So we're going to talk about 2 from the Player's Handbook, and then we're going to talk about 1 from Xanathar's as well. Before we get to it though, we're going to roll for initiative, and we're also going to tie in some of the additional abilities that come with Bard and how we might use them with the subclasses, the use of Counter Charm, Inspiration, and the like. Okay? You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's roll for it. 7 for me.
that'll be a 17. Adam's going first. Terry's going last. This is as per usual.
Yep, as is tradition. I don't know why I roll.
I'm second.
Yeah.
For those who weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, take it away.
All right. So the very first thing that I did was I looked at the College of Valor, and I picked this one because it never made sense to me. Right. I always think that it's garbage pants. I don't understand why you would play a sword-wielding minstrel, just at face value. And then I actually started to look at it, and it's got a couple of really crazy things about it. The very first thing that you get at 3rd level is proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. Tell me the other full caster that gets it. Sorry, full casters from 3.5 because there were half casters, three-quarter casters.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. How like paladins only get like 4 levels of spells or 6 levels. No,
they get 5.
5, yeah.
And even warlocks only get 5 levels of spells. Right, a bard gets the whole freaking gamut, and they can choose some other things. And now they get a shield.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
All right. So that kind of blew my mind. I kind of glanced over College of Valor because why would you not do College of Lore? Mm-hmm. It's the general thinking for most people for bards. Yeah. But this is a lot of fun. Also at 3rd level, I'm going to read directly out of this because it blew my mind.
Yeah.
You'll learn to inspire others in battle. A creature that has bardic inspiration die from you. So when you give bardic inspiration, they can add it to really any d20 roll, right?
Yeah.
This also allows them to add it to damage rolls or their AC as a reaction.
You can damage their AC?
No, you add it to your AC.
Sorry, you add it to yours.
Yeah, so it's like...
No. The creature you inspire adds it to theirs.
Yeah. So if I inspire the barbarian, right, it's like just casting shield on him, but I haven't used a spell slot.
Yeah.
Right? That's insane, right?
So even in anti-magic, you could be studying a Beholder's anti-magic field, you can still do it.
Yeah.
Still do it.
Yeah. Which means at 6th level, you get the extra attack. So you had to wait 1 level to catch up with the barbarian as far as the number of attacks that you're doing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because you're a full caster anyway.
Yeah.
And you're role-playing everything. You are a party by yourself at this point.
Yeah.
Right? And then at 14th level, you have... It says, you've mastered the art of weaving, spellcasting, and weapon use. Which means when you cast a spell, you can still attack as a bonus action.
With your weapon.
That's nuts.
That is nuts.
That is so overpowered from a physical melee standpoint.
I think because for people who like to play those types of characters, those melee type of characters, you're looking at Paladin, Barbarian, Fighter. Those players, I wouldn't have, even myself, thought to even look at College of Valor on a bard.
Right,
and look how powerful that is.
Yeah, your medium armor, shields, martial weapons. You are as proficient in this stuff as a warlock, right? And as
a hexblade warlock, even.
Right. As you are not quite as good as a ranger on things, but you're definitely as good, if not better, than a rogue, right?
Yeah.
And you're full casting. This is overpowered. This class can do anything, and we haven't even touched on the regular bard stuff.
Yeah,
right. The expertise. So you're adding all of these abilities and skills on top of it, right? Yeah. Your crazy font of inspiration. So
you're opening up magical secrets to now. Not only are you casting arcane, but you're also casting some divine spells into there.
Exactly,
and you're whacking a guy upside the head while you do it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to heal you. I'm going to stab that guy, and the guy to my left still has inspiration from last round.
Oh, by the way, you have counter charm as well.
Yeah,
you can throw in there as well.
So like, there's just one thing after another with College of Valor that it just keeps getting better and better and better. If I'm going to roll up a bard. And it's like, oh, hey, we're going to roll up 15th level characters for this. All right, I want the best of all worlds. I'm going with the Bard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so College of Valor.
15th level, you're going Bard and then dipping 1 level into Fighter just for action surge because screw you.
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh, it would be brutal. So absolutely brutal.
So anyway, that's me. College of Valor surpassed everything else. As far I love all of the other Bard stuff, and I just kind of ignored Valor and Swords because, they're kind of fighty. Who gives a shit? Valor, actually, I give a shit now.
Yeah.
Right? It changed my mind. You and the Barbarian, I changed.
I'm a changed man.
Yeah.
And now you are as well. Dan, can we change you at all?
Please, can someone change Dan? Oh my God.
I've been wearing the same clothes for weeks, man. The life of parents. Like, y'all out there, you know me.
Apparently.
Yeah, anyways.
I know what you're talking about. I'm going back home to my clean house and car after this.
You're going to go home and pet your Roomba.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't think you could change me away from College of Lore. It is the iconic Bard.
Yeah.
It is. When you roll a Bard, this is what you think. I used to call it the College of Nerd because I liked Valor Bards. I liked the ability to be like the dashing swashbuckler kind of character that a Valor Bard could really...
You could also be a swashbuckler that's a rogue.
You could also be a swashbuckler, but that's a Xanathar's thing. College of Lore is that wisecracking, history nerd to a point, who uses his words to weave stories and is the skill monkey of the party, is open up to secrets, and like the flavor of a College of Valor bard is insane and is iconic in every way, shape, or form. I love them. Their ability, cutting words, is probably one of my favorite abilities other than rage in the game. Like as a class ability.
So, okay, I'm going to pause you for just a second because you're touching on something that I absolutely love for College of Lore specifically. And I know that you're about to jump into it, but I want everyone to keep this in the back of their mind. I always say that you should never... Kenku's really hard to play. You should never play a mute character. The moment you start to cripple yourself, you cripple the party. They got to look out for you.
Yeah.
They don't understand what you're saying. It's a big issue. I want to play a College of Lore bard that's blind. And so all of the stuff that he says is out of his memory, and he's just like spewing insults and issues, and like he sings a song and he's like humming to himself as he's walking down the road with the stick in front of him, and like the flowers are blooming around him.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's singing this happy song. He's a Disney princess.
Yeah.
But he's blind. And I don't know, I just think that a blind College of Lore bard would be a shit ton of fun to play.
I would like to play a College of Law bard that is not blind, but wears dark glasses and convinces everybody that they are. No?
Yeah, I'm in.
I think that would be
Yeah,
great.
no. Your College of Lore bards are also your con men, right? Like there's a little bit here that's like, you know, these colleges members gather in libraries and sometimes in actual colleges, complete with classrooms and dormitories to share their lore with one another. Like these guys are nerds, but they are so in love of the story of life and the story of the weave and the story of history.
I love the idea of them all getting together too, because like one of them is, oh, you know, one time I caught a 14-inch trout. You know, I was like, I caught a 15-inch trout.
Yeah, they're
inspired.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, they're also those same group of old men talking about fish size and comparing their fish size.
They're cods.
Yeah, they're cods.
Yeah.
These are also the same ones who see the teenagers walking on their yard and lose their mind.
Get off my yard, you kid!
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
To the point of the teenagers going and running. Cutting words, the ability to hinder your attacker as a reaction with nothing more than just speaking at them is insanity to me. Like, you get to take your Fonts of Inspiration, which at level 5, regens at a 5th, at a short rest. Like, you get these forever, and you get to throw these things at anyone around you within 60 feet who could see or hear you. Like, it's just... And as a reaction. It's like, oh, you're attacking my wizard friend? Well, you donkey, you're not.
The verbal component for that is,
Yeah, right? Because I like to call them the College of Nerds, they're also the, actually, like, that's cutting words to me, and I love it. So
my god, why did I just get so mad all of a sudden?
you're still on Barbarian.
You're still on Barbarian,
just that person, I felt like I would punch him.
But add on top of it the fact that the insane... You get to choose 3 skill proficiencies for Bard is doubled with the College of Lore Bard. You now get 6 of your choice. Go nuts. Have fun. Like, it's ridiculous. The additional magical secrets where it's like, you want to pull from other classes? Well, we're going to pull more, right? Like, there is no reason why your College of Lore Bard isn't casting Eldritch Blast just as good as a Warlock is, right? I mean, Warlock get their invocation stat to it, and that's going to boost it, but, like, it's a cantrip, people. Like, it's going to be hitting damage just like anything else. We're going to cover this later for other characters. I had a Bard Warlock character that I want to talk about so much. I'll save it for later.
For the Warlock episode?
No. For this episode, because he's mostly Bard. So
Okay.
We'll talk about him later. And then Peerless Skill, the ability to expend any sort of... to roll a Bardic Inspiration die and add the number to any ability check full stop is... And the ability to do it after you've rolled, right? Like, you could roll a thing and be like, I'm going to roll athletics. No, that's not great. I'm going to do this after the fact. It's insanity. So, I love this class. I love this archetype. Adam, you were saying earlier that the College of Valor is very overpowered.
Yeah.
College of Lore is just as bad. right? It's just got that different flavor to it. So that's me. Terry, what you got?
Eventually, we're going to discover that they're all just overpowered, and therefore they even each other up. Okay. So when we were going through and we were looking at the different options for subclasses, I'd never explored this subclass before that I'm going to cover, which is College of Whispers. It's in Xanathar's, and as I started to take a look at it, I realized that this is probably actually my favorite type, my favorite subclass, because this would be a type of character that I would really enjoy, where it's not, they're using their words, but not in the sense of singing. It's more for extortion, threats, and kind of reading between the lines, and that their words, for example, may be happy and positive, but the magic behind them may cause fear in what they're doing. So, for example, some of the abilities they have, Psychic Blades, which they get at, I believe it's 3rd level, means that you can also cause psychic damage to your target once you've hit them with a melee attack. You use a point of bardic inspiration to do it, but it's just an extra little bonus that you can throw in. Psychic damage can be very valuable, especially against the barbarian type.
There are so many creatures that are immune to your fire, cold, lightning.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot that's immune to psychic.
Even your totem warrior barbarians. That is the psychic damage is the one thing that they'll still take full damage on.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's how you beat the Hulk.
Yeah.
What I like about the College of Whispers as well is that it makes you even more important for social encounters. For the abilities that they have. So you can cause more like long-term sort of threats. So for example, the words of terror that they get at 3rd level as well, is you can use your words to infuse fear into the enemy, providing that you've been speaking to them for 1 minute. So you can, if you're having an interaction, a long conversation with an enemy, or they're monologuing or something like that, you can let the DM know, hey, I'm going to keep this person talking here because I want to use this ability.
That's really cool because I feel like you're going to be a mob boss.
Yeah.
With this. Come on, sit down. We're going to have a wonderful meal.
Yeah.
But I have a few things I got to ask you first before we get started. And by the time he's done talking, you're shitting your pants.
You're shitting your pants, but he hasn't actually said the words are not threatening.
I'll send some people over to keep you company.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. It's the undertones, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I love that.
This is the subtext.
I love those scenes,
Yeah.
and we've done those type of scenes together. That came out wrong in the game where we've had like those long, sort of intimidating conversations.
Yeah.
That type of ability right there would have been perfect for that type of thing. Okay, Mantle of Whispers, they get a 6th level. Is when a humanoid dies, you essentially take their shadow, and their shadow follows you. And at any point, you can make that shadow disguise you as that person who died.
Oh, that is awesome.
I'm pretty sure you're going to get to do it once, from that shadow, from that person. But you don't get all of their secrets, but you get the basic knowledge that they would have. You know how to act to be them. You can mimic them perfectly, but you don't know what their mother's name is.
How long does that last?
I believe it's disguise lasts for 1 hour or until you end it as a bonus action.
My God, I want to play this in an urban campaign.
So yeah, exactly. So like Waterdeep or something like that would be perfect. If you're going undercover, like an undercover type mission, this would be perfect.
It's funny because you said Waterdeep, and I'm like, no, man, like Victorian era London.
Yeah,
like I want the cobblestones and the lanterns.
Definitely.
And
that's basically Waterdeep. It's very modeled after that kind of tone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
So the last one I had for you was Shadow Law. You get this at 14th level. It's the ability to weave dark magic into your words and tap into a creature's deepest fears. So as an action, you magically whisper a phrase that only one creature of your choice within 30 feet of you can hear. The target makes a wisdom saving throw. It automatically succeeds if it doesn't share a language with you. On a successful saving throw, your whisper... it sounds like unintelligible mumbling and has no effect, but on a failed save, the target is charmed by you for the next 8 hours or until you or your allies attacks it. Yeah, I was trying to get my words up to get it so that it was clear. But yeah, essentially you can charm them for 8 hours.
And with your counter charm that you just inherently get as a bard at level 6, you were a charm beast.
Yeah, and also, if they succeed on the save, they don't
stab
know...
them and wear your skin.
They don't know that you were trying to do it. If they succeed, they just think you are mumbling nothing at them.
Yeah.
So hugely powerful. I mean,
They think you're that weird guy on the street, not...
It's at 14th level, but do you see how this subclass works for kind of like that long play, long con type thing?
Yeah.
Great. I will love that because that's the type of game I like to play. It's a very social roleplay type game. But love it. College of Whispers, it's in Xanathar's. If you love to play that type of character, it's right there. It's great. All right, guys. So before we move on, does anyone want to add anything that they missed for those subclasses they want to throw in?
Yeah, I got a question for Dan. This confused me because you said this and I'm like, what? So let me start. Bardic inspiration, okay?
Yeah.
So you get an inspiration die. I think it starts with a D6 and it improves as you level.
Yes.
Once within the next 10 minutes, the creature can roll a die, and the number rolled and add the number rolled to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. Ability check is the key word. Ability check, attack roll, and saving throw.
Yep.
It can wait until after it rolls the d20 before deciding to use the inspiration die, but before the DM decides or reveals whether it's successful or not. That is the basic bardic inspiration. So your College of Lore peerless skill, starting at 14th level, when you make an ability check, it's the same thing. You can expend one use of bardic inspiration, roll a die, and add the number rolled to your ability check.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
No.
What am I missing?
The reactionary component to it. Peerless skill's reactionary. So,
It doesn't say that anywhere here.
when you make an ability check, you can expend one use, roll a bardic inspiration die, and add the number to your ability check. You could choose to do so after you roll the die for the ability check.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's not a reaction during.
It's not a reaction to do it.
So
but
you
it's
see your roll and then decide to do it instead
Yeah.
of declaring you're going to do it before you roll.
Exactly.
The D20.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of weak for 14th level compared to some of the others.
true, but I mean, they get their additional magical secrets, they get the
Yeah,
cutting
all
words.
of their other stuff is super powered.
Yeah.
Just their 14th level thing seems a little weak. I don't think I would go a full 14 in Bard in College of Lore. I think I'd bow out after 10th level.
You think?
Yeah, I'd go grab something else because I got everything I wanted out of this.
You could even go just to 6th because they get their magical secrets early, right?
Yeah,
Like you could. I like the freedom that peerless skill kind of brings into it because it's reactionary in the sense where you're playing that character who is telling everyone you can't fail at anything. If you're going to roll that dice and then, oh crap, I'm about to fail at this thing, you could bring that in.
yeah,
at that point.
but at 14th level, you have so many spells and other things, and you're proficient at so many other things. You're not really failing too often at 14th. You'll roll a 1, but you're adding 12 to the roll, right? And it's not an auto failure on an ability check. It just doesn't seem like that's the strongest of 14th level abilities.
Well, they get cutting words, right?
And that's it. And that more than
cutting
makes up-
words balances it, and then some.
But my point is that College of Lore is front loaded.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go all the way through it. A lot of people say that bards and fighters are the two best to dip into. Warlocks too.
Yeah.
Are really good to dip in for the 1 or 2
You get a
levels
lot early on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the same thing with the rogue sneak attack, right?
Yeah.
There's some that are really front loaded, some that are really back loaded. This is front loaded. The Bard, especially College of Lore.
Yeah, you go 3 levels into College of Lore, you could go on and you've got that flavor, you've got that ability, you've got cutting words, you're golden.
Yeah, you move on to the next thing. You got your Song of Rest by then, you've got your inspiration, you can move on.
Oh.
So anyway, that was just kind of my thought process on College of Lore.
Makes sense to clear that up. Yeah, but that absolutely makes sense. Okay, guys, so we're going to move on. We'll talk a little bit more about how we can make archetypes creative and do different types of things with characters. First, though, I want to give a shout out. The shout out I want to give this week is for Instagram. Our friend RPG Yogi's other page, the Chic Fae, at the Chic Fae. Chic is CHIC. Fae, you should know, is FEY. So RPG Yogi, on top of having an amazing
It's not
page,
Chick-fil-A.
It's not chickpea.
Okay.
It's not chickpea or chickpeas or anything else.
So she makes artisanal hummus.
Yeah. These people, whenever you say stuff like that, do you see the rage build up?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey guys, what's the difference between a garbanzo bean and a chickpea?
Okay.
Oh
what?
No, if you don't know the answer to this, I'll tell you later. Those of you who are going to leave you hanging, Google it. It's funny.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. RPG Yogi's other page, the Chic Fae, is that the page where she advertises and makes all of her D&D themed and inspired jewelry, and we've seen a lot of this type of stuff out there, and it's the same stuff. We see it
Hers is-
over and over.
hers is
again.
so cool,
But hers is
I
gorgeous.
love
and
the
it's
D20
creative.
pendants.
Yeah, or with the the moon shape, the
that's-
tribal type moon.
Me, the guy who doesn't like costumes at the table, loves the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the elf ears. I want to get them for my wife. My wife does not play Dungeons and Dragons. I want to get those for her
love it.
because she
And-
would love them.
And I love having a little bit of back and forth with Yogi because she's incredibly witty and sarcastic as well. But she's also very talented with her hands, and I am not. So I appreciate it when I see it at making jewelry. Dan,
You're the one who said it.
don't bring her into
These
this.
words come out of your mouth.
Don't bring her into this filth. No. Okay.
That's what we have Break the Heroes for.
That's what Danny's for. As well. She will break you as well. She's the sassiest. All right, guys, are we ready to move on?
No. I'm not. What is the difference between garbanzo beans and chickpeas? You can't just leave me hanging.
I don't pay a garbanzo to bean on my face.
Oh.
You asked.
See?
There it is.
Because I'm trying to do this thing with you guys where I want people to take it seriously here.
Chic Faye, you say?
Chic Faye. We love
right.
the Chic Faye. RPG Yogi. Okay, alright guys, let's move it on. Let's talk about interesting character builds.
What a way to end the shout out.
How we're going to counter I'm going. How we're going to counter stereotypes. We're going to talk about unique character flavor. But first, we are going to roll initiative. I hope I win, just so you guys are not allowed to talk. And with a 4, I'm not going to.
I'm going first.
I'll go last with a 2. Still haven't botched.
Alright, Dan, talk to me about character builds and archetypes and how to make them fun and creative.
Okay, so I love embracing tropes and all these other things, and I like finding my sources of inspiration outside of Dungeons and Dragons in quite a wide spectrum. I say this because one day I was driving home from work and I drove by a sign.
Okay. Was it a stop sign?
No. It was a real estate sign, and the guy's last name was Guthrie. And I went, that is a fantastic last name. What could I do with a character named Guthrie? Oh, I know. Guthrie, this guy's Southern.
Yeah.
He's probably playing a fiddle.
Yeah.
Wearing a set of overalls with one thing off.
Cal Guthrie? Hal Guthrie.
No. We have a naming convention with tieflings where their name is like a full-on like...
It's like laughter.
Yeah.
Laughter, all this
like
other
a noun,
things.
right? Yeah.
So I wanted this tiefling character who was a... obviously, like a deep, like I wanted deep red. Like I wanted him to be as devilish looking as I could.
Sure.
But he was a very good character. Like he was lawful good. His sister, Aesmere, asshole, who's a rogue. Anyways, this character, I named him Redemption Guthrie,
Okay.
or Red Guthrie for short. The most southern name I could.
Adam nods approvingly.
And this guy was a fiddle player.
Yeah,
and
looking like the devil.
Looking like the devil. So I was like, okay, he's the devil. He's from the south, and he has... Okay, so he's the devil that came down from Georgia.
Yeah.
I dipped a little bit into Warlock and took a Pact of the Chain. Oh. So he had a familiar as well with his fiddle. So I had his little familiar, whose name was Charlie Daniels. Oh. Who's the band who made the song "The Devil Came Down to Georgia," and he played a fiddle.
What's
loved him.
The familiar? You're leaving me hanging. What is it?
What's the familiar?
He was a weasel.
Oh, all right. I dig it.
Right.
That works.
Yeah,
sure.
And he just hid in my pocket. But for the bard side of things, he was College of Valor. Like he was just sitting there to play his fiddle and destroy you on an emotional level every single time he got to it. Right? Like in the song. I built the character very much around the lyrics of the song, and there's a part where it's like, settle up, son. I'm like, I'll show you how to play, and he goes nuts on the violin. So I did that with his magical secrets. I gave him shillelagh, so he just occasionally things would get too close to him, so he would smoke them across the face with his fiddle as a shillelagh, and then he'd keep playing it. Like I love this build, being able to really dip into this fast-talking, fast-fiddle-playing devil who is a good guy, but he will play the fact that he looks like a devil and, will walk up to kids for a laugh and be like, hey, so give you a gold for your soul, right? Like, that kind of deal. Like, I loved this character and, like, really, really built him around this guy who's just a bit off kilter, but southern as all get out, and I got to break out my southern accent. It was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, Dan, that's good.
That's the best accent you have.
That's the best.
My southern accent is actually pretty decent.
Your
like
Russian accent is just
it's
balls.
No,
it's balls.
It's
balls.
Your Russian was good. I'm sure actual Russians out there were fuming at all of it.
His Russian accent was freaking John Malkovich.
I was like, screw this.
From Rounders.
From Rounders.
It was halfway between that and the Russian cosmonaut from Armageddon.
Yes. Oh man, what a great.
Go back and listen. If you haven't listened to it, listen to our Wizard Tower.
Go and listen to Wizard Tower episode. A lot of fun. Okay,
we talked about gizzard showers.
Blizzard hours. It was we were talking about blizzard hours.
Right.
I on this podcast, I didn't think I was going to be the one that had to control everybody else and keep them on topic, because in life I'm like squirrel, like I'm off all the time.
Oh, I try to do it, and then you guys belittle me. So I've given up.
Okay, I'm going second.
I'm chaotic neutral.
So interesting
Don't fuck with everybody.
Yeah. All right, continue.
Interesting character builds. When I was exploring College of Whispers, this got me thinking. I'm thinking I want to move away from the type of character you just described, Dan, which was a great character, that fiddle playing musician, but I want to move away from that and use the voice, the spoken word, as more of like the politician style. That House of Cards, Frank Underwood, undertones, hidden meanings to words. College of Whispers would be great for that. That kind of smile to the face, knife to the back type person, where everybody kind of trusts them, but secretly they have those evil sort of tendencies, but they're kind of like a lawful evil type character.
Yeah.
But that sleazy politician type. Yeah. So, that would kind of be the way I would like to go.
I like that. And it could be more than just... You don't have to start as the politician for that either.
Yeah.
You could just start as like a fast-talking con man, work your way up to be like the
mayor.
No, even before that, you're the foreman of the trash disposal company.
Yeah.
They've just got this fat-paying job for the...
Absolutely.
And then you work your way up through it. From a role-play perspective, that's great. How are you handling your combat as this character? Mm-hmm. Why are you in a dungeon?
Yeah.
So that's my question for you, Terry. Why is this guy adventuring?
I feel like there would be a lot of there'd be a great hidden agenda with this person, and we were talking before about always find a reason to be with the party.
Yeah,
you're using these people. You're going to the dungeon. You may know the way, and you're going to essentially use them to get to your agenda item, but also because you're a untrustworthy person. Because you put out what you take in, you also don't trust other people. So you have to go with them.
I would take the background folk hero for this as well. So the other thing, too, is that you walk back into town and the masses love you.
Yeah, the masses love you.
Right? Because you are this one. And you get into the dungeon and you get, all right, guys, like Yuri from the Wizard Tower episode was very much that character. He was like, oh, yeah, that's scary. Why don't you guys go deal with that? I'll be in this room over here.
Well, you did that with Oscar all the time. You're like, okay, I'm going to go deal with this. You go count this thing. And Oscar's like, okay.
But, but outside to the people, you're shaking hands and kissing babies. Yeah. But the people who know
not the opposite, that's bad.
Yeah, absolutely. But the people who know that you're that sleazy type.
If I was to play this kind of character, I would play him very much like Gary Oldman in Fifth Element. Like, the reason why he's out adventuring is if you want to do something right, you do it yourself. Nyah! Like, disappointed businessman who sent his henchmen out, they failed, so now he's having to come and supervise. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I would love to do that.
Yeah. I think it'd be great, especially for an urban campaign where if you're going to basically be staying in that city mostly, you can have that political agenda where you're trying to work your way up from the foreman of the trash company up to be the mayor, and your long agenda is you're trying to take the mayor or something. So, yeah. Love it. Okay, Adam?
All right, so I thought I had one thing from College of Valor, but I've changed my mind since because I had an epiphany while Dan was speaking about College of Valor. Really quickly, the College of Valor thing is if you have martial weapons and a shield and you are a bard, you should be banging that shield, and that should be your instrument, right? You are keeping rhythm, or you are making a cacophony of noise to get people to react to you, whether you're getting their attention. You're casting a spell out of the shield, right? See if you can use it as an arcane spell focus, right? Like, I just think that that's a really cool way of going about it. Mm-hmm. So, but my real answer is, and I've said this before on the podcast, I want to be the stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, the slam comic. You said,
the slam comic. So what he does is he just insults... Dan?
Sorry, I just want to say, bards, by their very nature, can use any sort of musical instrument as their spellcasting focus.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Right?
But
so, like, you could use your shield. I would rule that you'd be able to use your shield as a...
I would just say that get permission from your DM, so he's not saying, no, make it an instrument that you can get along and played.
I'll get a big, flat, round gong that I strap to my arm then.
I'm strapping a steel drum on here. Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah, that is a great big gong you've got strapped on. So
never mind the size of my gong. Carry on.
So the thing about the insult comic that I absolutely love is that he knows more than you about everything. He's casting spells all of the time. Every time he opens his mouth, something happens. But the flavor that I got out of Dan talking about Red Guthrie and he's going around, he's making deals and whatnot, is I started thinking about the power of language, like you were saying earlier, Terry.
Yeah.
This is the guy who either buffs, he is consistently dropping the F-bomb.
Right.
This is a rated R character because this is insult comedy. So he is either buffing the party with swear words because he is swearing on your behalf, or he's using curse words to damage others because why do they call it curse words?
Yes.
Because he is cursing people with the power of his language.
This is fantastic. I'm on board with this.
Yeah, that's where my insult comedian is going to come
I
from.
do not want to DM this character. I want to play with
Constantly
this character.
insulting your own party because you're reluctantly buffing them because they're shit.
Listen, you fucking wiener.
just like healing them, going, can you stop being so fucking shit? Just carry on. Oh, thanks for healing me. Fuck you, I almost died. Get out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that would be like even like Song of Rest for him.
Yeah.
He would be singing lullabies that are real, but he would be dropping the F-bomb into it, right?
Or just really inappropriate lyrics, but just in a soft and melodic way.
Okay, I have a quick story. There is a lullaby that when I had kids, I almost sang, but it's, go to sleep, you little creeps, because it's way past your bedtime. May your dreams turn to nightmares and your teddy bears all die.
I remember that from my childhood, yeah.
That thing's terrible. Perfect Song of Rest song.
No, I'm going to do you one better for Song of Rest. Now, I know you know this book, Dan, because I bought it for you when you had kids, but I don't know if you know this.
It's over there.
It is Samuel L. Jackson reads in the YouTube video. It's a children's book called Go the Fuck to Sleep. Do you know this? You should look it up on YouTube. It is right because he
I feel like
narrates
there's a lot of parents nodding right now.
Yeah. Every single parent is,
Yeah. Also, we're drunk.
So when Dan had his twins, I was like, hey, you know what? You need to have this book. It's beautiful. So so I bought it for Dan as a congratulation present.
Yeah.
But I could just picture him. Like the party is taking a short rest. They don't want to use their hit dice. They're pretty beat up. And he's just like, no. Go the fuck to sleep.
Yeah.
And he's just pulling excerpts out of this book and trying to calm people down. This is where I'd come from with the insult comedian.
Yeah.
And I almost need another bard in the party to be like, no. His heart's in the right place, man.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the words, listen to the meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Or just a barbarian character that's like his best friend who at every single thing's like, yes!
Yeah. But you just want to have a barbarian be everyone's best friend, Dan.
That's because everyone needs a barbarian best friend.
But that's where I would come from. The swear words and the curse words.
That was 3 really good character builds. I think we looked at flipping things on his head a little bit, and it got really good. Okay, we're kind of coming to a natural end here. Unless there's any last points you guys want to put in, or anything we felt like we missed at all.
We've said this before in other episodes, and I think it really bears repeating. One of the curses of the bard is if you're at a table and they expect you to sing and you're not a singer, don't feel the pressure to do it. Like, if you want to go nuts, like I've been in groups where people like are incredibly skilled musicians and they come with a mandolin and they actually play their songs.
Yeah.
I've been with those groups.
What is the podcast or the show where it's 4 musicians that get together?
Bombarded.
And they make a song at the end of every episode.
Yeah,
about what
so
happened?
there is a musical dice thing that like chooses their key and chooses all these other things, and they make a song based on that episode at the end of every episode of an actual play D&D game.
However, they're talented people and I'm not.
No, neither am I.
So I'm not going to sing at the table. Like I just won't.
So if you want to play a bard and are intimidated by the fact that you might have to sing, you don't.
You don't have to sing. Also, if you play a Black Dragonborn, you don't have to spit on people when you use your breath weapon. It kind of goes without saying. You don't have
if
to
you're barbarian, you don't actually have to throw things across the table.
He says sarcastically to Adam to the side.
Still wiping our brow.
Yeah. So the other thing that I want to point out is, and this really only works for these 2 classes. Last episode, I said barbarian backwards was Nerabrab.
Yeah.
Which is a great name for a Knoll barbarian. Like I really like that.
Right.
The opposite of a bard is someone who's drab, which is bard backwards. So that's it. All kind of flows together and works. Beautiful. It falls apart when it gets to warlock.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's warlock backwards because I
Call raw. Like, this is not working anymore. But for the first 2, it worked out all right.
Yeah. Splendid. Okay. Well, on that note, team, I think it's time to do the outro music. We'll get out of here, and I'll leave you guys, and I'll see you in a week. Don't text me. Don't call me. All right, guys. It's a Mimic. We are out.
We're out.
Thank you for listening to It's a Mimic. Check us out online at itsamimic.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Have questions you would like answered by the guys on the show? Send them an email to itsamimic@gmail.com. Tune in every Tuesday for more.
We're still going to play, though, right? Like D&D?
No, I fucking hate you guys.